shame on the medical staff for allowing that to happen. Like, you know what I mean? So
pull the plug, not let him go out there.
Yeah,
man.
pull the plug and be a little bit more strong about it. Like, you know.
So how do you feel? Because we're talking about injuries, yeah. Obviously, in Saka's case, Madueke's come in. In Saliba's case, Mascara's come in. This is kind of why we wanted a squad. How do you feel about them two players? Because I don't want to say impressed, because I don't think we did too much in an attacking sense against Liverpool. But to be fair, in terms of what Madueke can control, I think he was good. I think he was a potent threat. I think, you know, maybe with having a fit Saka and obviously having Eze, that kind of alleviates some pressure on Madueke, because he came into with petitions and that. I mean, it's a baptism of fire coming on at Anfield, and I think Mascara didn't put a foot wrong. So, like, how do you feel about those two individuals and them stepping up?
Well, let's take Mascara in the first place, right? No one after the game said we missed Saliba. That tells you everything you need to know.
Says it all.
Yeah, outstanding. Whether he can, and I think he can do it for 1 or 2 games, over 6, 7, 8, 9 games, that's completely different. But I think he can come in for 1 or 2 and do a job. Madueke, I think, right, people went overboard about his performance against Liverpool. I thought he done okay. Wasn't sensational. Wasn't like
exactly
a match winner, but done okay. This, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's something that we should be saying too much. You know, I think he deserves a chance against Forest. I'd rather play 100% fit him than a 60% Saka and worrying about him. I'd rather like go like, you know, his job now is to make sure that when Saka comes back, he's 100% fit, not 60% fit.
2 hamstring injuries in 6 months is crazy.
Yeah, and a big worry. Listen, I've got no doubts whatsoever that him and Havertz were rushed back last season. Rushed back.
100%.
You know, from surgery and all that. Like, don't get me wrong, not to the stage where they're not fit, but like, you know what I mean? You know, if we had no semi-final, we had nothing to play for, would there have been?
I don't think we see them.
I don't think we see them. No, I don't. So I think that that's the thing now. These people that come in have got a job to do. Where you go, right, I haven't got to rush back Saliba. I haven't got to rush back Saka. I haven't got to rush back Havertz. I haven't got to rush back Ben White. You know what I mean? Ben White was probably one of the best right backs in the league until he got injured. Then Timber
ran him into the ground last few years, man.
Yeah, but he's been running to the ground. But no one goes on about Ben White now because why? Because Timber come in and done an outstanding job. That's what you know, and probably now is the number one right back at the club. Like if I'll be honest, you know. So listen, that's what you've got to do, and you know. Whoever comes in has got to do that sort of standard of thing now. You know, I think Madueke deserves another chance to play on the weekend. If he's not too tired out with England, I don't really like to see our boys playing for England. If I'll be honest, but
or any country, it's nerve-wracking, man.
It is nerve-wracking. I don't really like to see it. You know, I like to see him having a rest. It benefits us in one way and then not in another, like, you know. So, well, listen, if that's the case, Wanyeri can play out there. There's certain other people that can play out there instead of Saka. But yeah, I think that these guys now, the reason they're here, you know, £52 million spent, you know, is. This is your time. This is what you've been. That's what that money's been spent on. So when Saka's not,
take your chances.
You take your chance and make sure you do it, and that's what he has to do. And not just him, the other players as well. Hopefully, Norgard will be available this week as well. Like another one that's had a little.
He's gone on the radar with his injury problems as well. I was thinking, where is he? He could have come off the bench at Anfield and helped us in a degree.
Yeah, I think like another one with a little hamstring injury, nothing major. I think that he'll be back now, but another hamstring injury, another muscle injury that goes along with Ben White, Saka. I take out Kai Havertz because that's a knee injury, but maybe that's a recurrence of other injuries that he's had. I don't know.
Because of the load or something around training.
Yeah, and that can happen. Like, you know what I mean? I've had that little operation that Kai Havertz had. Listen, I was out for a couple of months of it, but I ain't got all the treatment and everything that they had. But do the rehab, do everything properly, and I think that he'll be okay. But yeah, this is what you got your squad for, to come in and get us to where we want to be, and that is challenging for every game. I don't want us to be going to Nottingham Forest. I certainly want Liverpool, and I've got to give the manager and the club credit for that. We was without Saka, and we was out Havertz, we was out Ben White, and then we lose Saliba. I still wasn't going, that's it, we're done and all that, and these players are still not available for Forest. It doesn't.
I still think we could have won at Anfield, to be fair.
And I'm not looking at it, like when we, with Jesus, when he was out a couple of years ago, like they were doing documentaries about his rehab, and we was all having updates, and let them rehab and do it all properly and rush them back. Again, I felt that Jesus was rushed back in that season because we didn't have nothing up front and all that, and look what's happened to him. So hopefully lessons have been learned from that.
I got to ask you about Martinelli as well, man. Like, where are we at with Martinelli? What's gone wrong? Like, are we still doing the whole it's Arteta, it's the tactics, or is it purely down to Martinelli? Like, I can't wrap my head around it, Lee.
No. Listen, I think that he does a good defensive job. I'm where I sit at the Emirates. He must hate it being on that left-hand side because every time he goes forward, the manager's pulling him back and all that. Like, I don't think he's, allowed to breathe. At times, there was a game against Liverpool. I watched the game, see it for my own eyes. He got the ball, he drove into some space, looked up, and then he drove. He went back to where he was. You know what I mean? He wasn't brave enough to take on the player. Maybe the manager's saying, "Don't lose the ball." I don't know. You know what I mean? But listen, if you're a front player, the best thing you can have from your manager is go out there, express yourself. Don't worry about it. If you lose the ball, don't worry about it. We'll win it back. Don't worry about it. And I think that he's scared to lose the ball. If he takes on a man, he loses it. He's going to get a roll again or whatever. I don't know. These are the things that I'm thinking. Whenever I played, I was fortunate enough to be an attacking midfielder when I was younger and all that. Like, I just attack. You know what I mean? Get back. Get back into shape, but at the end of the day, your main concern was going forward. When I played older, I was sort of the holding midfield player. You've got a responsibility to defend, you know what I mean? But there's only so many players you want to have the responsibility to defend, you know what I mean? Like, I think if you've got wide players, let them.
And of course, havoc in the other opposition's box.
Yeah, just like you. And listen, I think if you're a forward or a wide player, as a midfield player, you expect them to lose the ball every now and then and not beat the man. It's good fullbacks. You're going to not win it every single time. So I think with Arteta, he plays a percentage game on that. Certainly not with Saka. Saka loses the ball and there's not so much on it. But I think that Martinelli's got to say to himself, I've got to be a little bit more braver and make more decisions. But listen, I see him 2 years ago tearing up the Premier League. I don't see that now, So I think that's something he's got to look at in his own game. And but I also think that I if you've been really honest with me, I think Wanyeri is just being a little bit when he first came into the side. He's doing all the things. He's a little bit more safer in his play now. Dauman not. But I do think that maybe there's that coaching element of like we're going to play like this, play like that, this possession-based football. Forget about that. We've got good enough defenders, good enough players that when we do lose the ball, we can win it back. And I think that that's something that Mikel's got to look at. But there's been you can only defend Martinelli for so long.
And I think I'm done with the defending, if I'm honest with you. I think there's a tax, but I don't think I think there's a defensive tax that Arteta applies. I don't think it applies to Martinelli in Arteta's case. Like, I don't see your decision-making improving. Now, I get it. confidence might be shot. You made a good point of he might be risk averse because you lose the ball. But I always think you get into scary territory when the best thing I can say about Martinelli is he helps his fullback out. He should be doing that anyways. And as much as I love Martinelli and I hope that, 3-4 games things can change, it does feel like for him, the writing's on the wall. Maybe you need to go to a team that's a bit less heavy coached and, more reliant on instinct. Because like that season you're referring to, even to the point, Lee, where I look back and I always think, has Martinelli ever been the player that I thought he was? Like, has he really fallen off a cliff or has he always been like this? But that season, we're just playing to his strengths. I don't know. I know people say he could play up front, but you're not going to get that here, are you? With Gyökeres, with Trossard, even if Jesus is fit, and the rest of it. So it's like, it does feel like the writing's on the wall, man. I think if there was a decent offer, he's not in next season.
It does, but it also could be that could be a thing for him where he goes in, bees the backup to Gyökeres. It may be that could be a good thing for him coming on the last 20, 25 minutes, making those sort of runs and things like that. I don't know. I think it's a crossroads with him at this moment in time now. I do think that somewhere along the line you have to take responsibility in your own appearances as well. But I would just turn around and said, like, has he fallen off a cliff? Yes, you could say that. So does Odegaard, but he still plays week in, week out.
True.
And people say, when you've just turned around and said it, like, well, he does cover his left back well. I hear that, like, well, Martin Odegaard shuts down well. Somewhere along the line, he's not in the team to shut down. And Martinelli's not in there to back up his left back. He's there to create and score goals. So Martin Odegaard has got to be in that position as well. So, listen, Arsenal have always had someone. I don't know why all this hate has come on Martinelli so much. You want my honest opinion? I think that they'd rather have a go at Martinelli than the manager. So they'll pick on Martinelli.
I don't think you're wrong.
Instead of the coach. I like to think there's a bit of both. I think that the manager has not released him the way he should do. So I think it's a little bit on Arteta to get the best out of these players as well on an attacking.
If you're starting him week in, week out, it is on you.
Yeah, and when you've got a good enough back four and defensive unit, you know what I mean. Like your attacking players should be allowed to benefit from that and bounce off of it, knowing that you've got a very, very good defence. So I think there's a little bit of both. I don't think it's all on Martinelli. I think it's on the manager as well. And I agree that that Martinelli is not. I think that, and I get this. There are times when Martinelli's one-on-one with a defender, and that ain't about tactics. Then it's not about where you are and whatever, and he doesn't deliver. You know what I mean? Like that's something that he's got to get into his game.
That's where I get at Martinelli.
Yeah, and that's where I understand people are saying that he's inconsistent or he's not doing this and doing that, and you want to criticise him. Fair enough. I get from that point of view there, but I do think there is restrictions into his game. But sometimes he lets himself down as well with his no end product. We criticise a lot of players for that. He's got to have an end product, and he hasn't got that at the moment, so he needs to do that.
And that's the annoying thing. Anyone that plays for Arsenal, we're going to back him. But unfortunately, we can't carry people. For me, I do think there's a role for Martinelli. Obviously, you're playing now because no one else is fit. But I think you're a rotationary option. You're a squad player. Like if we was 1-0 up, and Liverpool threw the kitchen sink at us, you bring on Martinelli, pin their fullback back, or you bring him on against tired legs. I think him and Trossard should kind of be that. I'm a bit surprised neither left in the summer, but that's neither here nor there. Aunt, I've got two more things to ask you before I let you get on with your day. The first is...
No problems.
I don't know if this is true, but a lot of people have been asking me to ask everyone that I've had on this channel. Apparently, Josh Kroenke has allegedly had a meeting with Mikel Arteta discussing what he expects this season. He's given Arteta everything he has asked for and expects to have a successful season. Trophies must be won. Do you agree with that? Do you think that really happened?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We're Arsenal Football Club. We should be having those conversations. Why shouldn't we be? Yeah. If I'm I think as a fan you can ask that as well. He should be put under pressure with winning trophies. Do you know why? Because he's Arsenal manager,
and we've got to that realm now.
And we're in that. We're in that thing. When people go, "Oh, he's dragged us from where we are," we should never ever have been in that position in the first place. but we were. So, like, he done well to do that. But at the end of the day now, you know, I want to see us, look, they've won a trophy down the road and taken a mickey out of us, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're far superior than there ever be. So but you've got to force it home. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you've got the hammer now. You've got to bang the nail in, you? Like, you know what I mean? You can't keep missing it. You know what I mean? So you've got you know, you're not doing it with a banana now or a cucumber. You got the hammer. You got the proper tool to do it. So do it. So why not? He spent a lot of money. Like, listen, people can criticise the Kroenkes all they want. You know what I mean? Like, not me. After this summer, he's given them everything they want.
They've done it. They've done it. Like, I might can cry about maybe I wanted a left winger, Rodrigo or whatever, but that's probably rich pickings. Like this, you know, the club is guilty of lip service when you're telling us unprecedented this and goosebumps. And there was a point in the summer we're thinking, rah, Berta's coming, nothing's changed. But it's not how it starts, it's how it ends. Fair enough. The gaffer wanted Madueke. You've got that. Mascara, I like that. Hincapie ain't kicked the ball for us. I like that. Fair enough. Norgard isn't Partey, but experience. You can kind of maneuver with him. We've chased Zubamendi for years. You got that one through the door. Whether Gyökeres is the guy or not, that is a proven goal scorer, providing with chance to put the ball in the back of the net. Eze is Eze in a positive way. We all wanted that. So we can't complain. It's just down for Mikel Arteta. You've got the ingredients. Cook the meal now. Just get it over the line. Because I think the players deserve it. I actually think Arteta is a good manager, but I want you to go from being a good manager to a winning manager, because I've got no leg to stand on with that. And kind of referring to what we said earlier, I think until you win a Prem, win a champ, start picking up some domestic cups and crossing over into that, I personally think everything should be up for debate, whether that's persisting with you, whether that's keeping with you. Kind of what you said earlier, you know, if you're fighting for a title and I don't know, we've got 99 points and Liverpool win it with 100, cool, some context behind that we can allow you. But what we can't have is like last season where we're just stumbling across. And let's have it right. Last season, we was in that weird scenario and that we're nowhere near catching Liverpool. We're not going to get dragged into a top 4 race. So we're just kind of existing, if I'm honest. And I think it's down to the manager. We just need to reinvent yourself. I just need you, especially in the final third, because I think the best thing is our problems can be fixed internally. It's not a recruitment issue anymore. So it wouldn't surprise me. Me personally, Lee, though, I do think if we don't win silverware, I don't think they're going to sack him just because that's not how we operate. But who knows, man? Because we need to get over the line.
Listen, go on. I agree with everything you say, but let's go back to when Arsenal won the FA Cup under Arsene Wenger.
True.
We wasn't happy just with that, because we'd 5th and 6th and weren't challenging for the title. So it's got to be
praise for everything you do. I must admit.
It's no good like saying, "Oh, you're going to win the FA Cup and you've not challenged for the title and you've gone out early in the Champions League and all that." It's all context of all the stuff. You know, and what trophy you win and what you don't win, like. But if he was to challenge for the title, win the FA Cup, it gives him a little bit, like. But I think he's got to get himself. That team and that squad should be winning some sort of trophy this season, like, you know what I mean? Not guarantee. I'm saying it's got to be in with a shout. I not going out early in the FA Cup, for instance, like, you know,
exactly
to a poor Man United team. Not there's certain context of it all, like. But listen. He's got to win something. You cannot get out. You cannot continue to keep going down our line, and that's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? I've accepted it for the last couple of years. I understand. You know, we've not had big enough squad, and we've had to go for the league. You know, pick and choose what we've had to do. You know what I mean? And it's been fantastic that we've challenged for the title for the last couple of seasons. Like, you know, but now you've got the squad to win. You've got the squad to win. Go and win. And the Kroenkes have given. Listen, people can go on about what striker you want. This. I know that there's people out there that wanted Sesko. They wanted Isak or whatever. Like, you know, Isak, they might have asked for about him, but he turned around and said he wanted Liverpool. So we've got the next best thing in Gyökeres. Loads of people wanted Eze. We've got Eze. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've got Zubamendi. Like, you know. We've made some bloody good signings this season. We brought up some good squad players as well, like, you know, which is what you need.
A couple of academy boys now are in the mix with Lewis Skelly, Ranieri, and Dalman.
Saved us millions. And, you know, if everything goes well with Max Dalman, like, you know, as far as injuries and whatever is concerned, he is going to save this club millions and millions of pounds. So it's all there for us. It's all there for us to go on and be, not just this season, for a few seasons. And the manager, you know, has been provided to the tools by that man that you've got in your picture there. And I think, you know, look, listen, if he walked past me in the road today, I'd shake his hand. I might not have done a couple of years ago, but I will now because he's done what he said he was going to do. They're back the club. They said at the beginning of the summer or last season there would be sufficient. I've got it in a program. I've still got it here now. Like, you know, investment in the team. Well, he's put it in black and white, and he's fulfilled it.
Put his money where his mouth is, man.
Yeah.
And I can't say that that's always been the case. I'm just a man of saying, you know what, fair enough. You've done your job. For once, you've done talking and it's made sense. I feel like we've got the squad. Do I think we're the best in Europe and the best in England? No, but we've been sniffing at it. And kind of what you just said there about not just this year, but years. I look at that differently in that I want that. But I don't want to look at these 3 years prior to the season we're obviously in and think, oh, could we have won a Prem or 3 on the spin or 2 or a League Cup and an FA Cup and the league? I don't think we've seized the present moment. And it's one thing fighting City, granted, you know, when it's all said and done, we're going against a juggernaut with Pep Guardiola. And not to say Liverpool weren't that, but Liverpool have won the league on the clock, sacked their manager, and they've not rested on their laurels. So now you've got new kids on the block and we've not got that. And then, unfortunately, if you don't win trophies, then you are looking at the Williams, Salibas and Sakas, etc., and saying, you know what, are they sitting there and thinking, do you know what, maybe we've gone as far as we can at this team. Maybe it's not meant to be. You know, for Saliba, where you've got Real Madrid players in your ear probably every week, you've got something to discuss. And I can't, even if we win all the trophies, like Trent won everything at Liverpool, still went Real Madrid. I don't mind if Saliba wants to do that. It's just, let's just make some history here, man. And we've got it all to do. The best thing is it's only 3 games in. So with that being said, Lee, my last question for you then, just a bit of fun. I saw this on Twitter and I've been asking everyone. If you could give Arteta one piece of advice, what would it be?
One piece of advice, go back to what you was 2 seasons ago.
Fair.
Go and attack. Be brave. Go and attack teams. Don't. I don't know what I would say was a great quote that was said to me, like, don't be afraid to lose. Otherwise, you don't deserve to win.
Oh, I like that. That was hard.
Yeah, I loved it. I got sent that the other day, and I'd put that up in his office. I would like. You know what I mean?
I need him to be bold, man. I need him to be bold. I know he's not in the same category, but I remember when Klopp signed for Liverpool, I think like 2015, and he said, "Oh, in the next 3-4 years, we'll win a title." I think he was just off, but he was bold and he got there. We all remember the Jose, the special one. We all remember when Wenger was mocked for saying invincible. That's the Mikel Arteta I need now. I know he says he wants to win trophies, but I just need you to be bold in all aspects now. So let's just hope we get over the line, man. Like, it'd be a shame not to win the Prem. The dream for me is the champs. I think as a minimum, we need days out at Wembley. So that's the league and FA Cup. If nothing more for the fans and not even more crucially than the fans, because we make the club, the players, because it can't be nice. You know, you're fighting to the last day of the season. You've lost the season where Kivio has to come in or Rob Holding. You've lost last year where we finished second, but we stumbled on that. You've lost this year. I hope it goes right, but it starts to get a bit mucky, and then you have to ask questions like, do they need a new voice? And Mikel Arteta, I hope you do it, but you could leave with your head held high. End of the day, from you've walked into this football club to if you left right now, you've done well. But you might be the man to get us to the promised land. You might have been the man to steady the ship in the same way Wenger paid off the stadium. You're kind of enjoying the fruits of his labor with the money. Maybe the next manager comes in and says, you know what, the squad's here, couple of changes, and we're gone. But that's my thing. Until we get to the promised land, everything has to be up for debate because that's where we want to